Yeah, hello everyone. Today, actually, we are going to discuss the Sicilian dragon. And just want to give a little introduction. Sicilian dragon is the same opening which is Gary Kasparov played, and he beaten the Vishwanathan Anand in the World Championship match. And after that, it was it is very famous opening. I just will discuss today the Sicilian dragon basic moves. Okay. Now, in this, if you see the current position here, it's Dragon, it's a part of Sicilian, and white's here is white's play e4. I just want to tell you, white can play e4, d4, c4. These are the major moves white can play, and the objective of any opening to attack in the center the four squares. If we see here, white played e4, and the most common reply against e4 is e5. Okay, but that is not going to see today. We're going to see today is c5. Okay, e4, c5, and now if you see, black is ultimately controlling the center square, which is d4 square. Okay, now white cannot push his d4 because black is gonna quickly capture this d4 pawn. And here white will develop his minor piece, which is knight to f3. After knight f3, black actually in this position wanted to play is knight f6. The problem with the knight f6, if black play knight f6, this white pawn will be pushed like knight f6, and this is gonna be pushed the pawn, and we are take back our knight on the same g8 to avoid this pawn push. We are securing this e5 square by playing just d6. Now here, if I played knight f6, this white cannot push this pawn. The problem here with the white, now black is actually controlling two square, and white is just controlling a one square in this opening. Because of d6, we are controlling the e5 and d4 both square, but white is only controlling the d5 square. Now white wants to control the center more, so here white is going to play d4. After white playing d4, we have several moves. We can play knight f6, we can play g6, knight c3, but actually this is not a logical sequence, because if you played knight f6 now, white will just capture this pawn, and when you capture it back, white is going to capture your queen, and he will break your castle, and there is consequences could be followed by the knight e5, and he will try to attack on f7 by the fork. So when white played d4 move, we have to capture this d4 center pawn, and white is having two options. White can capture by the queen, or white can capture by the knight. The most recommended move here, the capturing this pawn by the knight, because if white capture by the queen, that we have one tempo, we'll play knight c6. So if white will capture by the queen, we'll play knight to c6, and knight have to go back, and which is actually wasting a move. So in c cross d4, white is going to capture knight cross d4, and now we are free to develop our first minor piece, which is knight f6. Remember, the basic theme of any opening to develop your pieces as soon as possible. So first, develop your knights, develop your bishop, and just go for the castle. This is the best. If you don't know what to play against any particular opening, if your opponent plays something different, which you don't know how to, play against that particular opening, the simple formula is develop your knight, develop your bishop, just go for the castle and the play middle game. Okay, so knight to f6 is two ways a better move. One is black develop his knight, attack on this pawn. So white is forcefully to play the knight to c3. Okay, and now here we are selecting the variation. Now this is the open Sicilian. If you want to play Sicilian dragon, we have to play g6. Okay, if you want to play Sicilian Najdorf, we can play a6. So here we are going to see today a Sicilian dragon. So black is playing g6, and now white is already developed both knights. So white have to develop his bishop, one of those bishop. And the sequence is very simple. If white wants to go for the short castle, white will develop bishop c4. If white wants to go for long castle by bishop e3 and play the Yugoslav attack, white will play bishop e3. So white here played bishop e3, will go for the bishop g7, And now remember here one more thing. Uh, White played bishop e3, and we know most of the people that the bishop is, if you get exchange knight against bishop, you would go for. But here, if you played a knight to g4, remember one thing: do not play same piece twice in the opening. And if you break that rule here, you will get penalty for that, because here now you can pause the video and you can find out it is a white to play and win the piece. Okay. Now here, if white break the opening rule, black break the opening rule and he played knight to g4, white is having a simple move is bishop to b5. After bishop b5, it's natural move. You cannot play knight c6, because if you played knight c6, it will be you're losing the rook, because knight c6, knight takes knight, pawn takes, and bishop takes. It will be a fork and you're going to lose the rook. That is one thing. So you cannot play knight c6. You have to forcefully play the bishop to d7. And now, after bishop to d7, this queen is going to capture this knight. You'll be surprised because this bishop is already pinned. So this bishop cannot take white's queen. And black now is piece down here. So always remember the opening rule. Do not play your piece twice, same piece twice in the opening. Now the best move here is bishop to g7. And now white having two moves. One is queen d2, bishop c4, or f3. The best move here is to play in this situation is playing to f3. Okay. Now if you ask me why f3, because if you play a move like queen d2, now black can play knight to g4, because now bishop to b5, king will go to the f8. The king is having enough space to move, and now this bishop is actually having a trouble. Okay. Now after bishop g7, white is gonna play f3. Well, simple, go for the castle. All players play knight c6, which is more accurate move as per the classical. But here, black should go for the castle, which is a modern variation. Most of the modern players play this castle move because it's always, save your king first and then attack. And this is called Yugoslav attack. Here, white is again having two variation. One is queen d2 and bishop c4. Both moves are okay. Let's see the queen d2. And now we will develop our remaining piece, which is knight to c6. And here, white have to choose whether he will go for the long castle or whether he will go to bishop c4. I'll tell you one thing here. If he just go for the castle, black is having immediate counter attack by playing d5, because there is no bishop c4 at this place. So black just can push this pawn. And here, if we take this pawn, or kind of take this pawn, it will take this pawn. Knight takes c6, pawn takes c6, knight takes, pawn takes, and if it queen takes, it is black is already a pawn down. It is not advisable to black should exchange the queen, otherwise black will lose the game. It's a pawn down. So black will go for the c7, sacrificing his rook. And once white will capture this rook is bishop to c4, and he's whether it will be a checkmate or he have to sacrifice queen. So this is the d5 variation. If white goes for without c4 castle, long castle. So we'll see the main line today is bishop c4. Let's go for bishop to d7, because this is the bishop. We don't have space for this bishop, because all the squares are packed for this bishop. So we'll go for the bishop to d7. White go for the long castle. This is which is the main variation. Sometimes here white can just play the h4 also. Okay, and if white play h4, you just go for the h5. This is common. In fact, here is a knight c8 also a move white can prefer. And if he played h5, you're going to win a piece here, because I'll request pause the video and find out how is black to play and win the piece. Okay, now the move here, if you found knight cross knight, it's a best move here, because knight cross knight, he cannot take bishop because his bishop is hanging. So you have to play by the queen takes knight, and this is a discover attack, knight to g4. He had to protect his, both bishops. So queen will go to the d3, and then knight takes bishop, queen takes bishop, and queen takes knight, and rook takes bishop. And simple here, black is a piece up. Okay, now we'll go for the most accurate move, which is white should go for the castle. And there's always a rule, rook is strongest piece in the open file. So rook to c8, and here I'm again telling you, if white played h4, the same trap will come for the white. And this is very sharp line, as I said. Sharp line means white cannot make so many error in this game. If one mistake is enough to lose the game. And again, I'm telling you, white played h4, the same sequence will come. Knight takes knight, queen takes, knight g4. He cannot capture because this bishop is attacking the queen. So queen d3, knight takes bishop, queen takes bishop, and rook takes bishop. It's winning the piece. So he cannot play h4. The only move here white can play is bishop to b3. Okay. Now form, this is the actually we have completed the 11 moves here. Now it's a black choose black, which what kind of black should black want to play here. Black can go for the knight cross knight here, which is called a Topalov variation. And Vaseline Topalov, he invented, or he played many times, and he having very positive result with this line. And in here it's a knight takes knight, and the bishop takes, and black is starting attack with the b5. Remember, he's giving one pawn sack, but if white take this pawn, white will have a miserable life after that. Means white will have huge attack from the black side. So it is not advisable white to take this pawn. And if he doesn't take a pawn, like if we just play a natural move like h4, black is going to play a5, and he is going to trap this bishop. So let's see, if he played like a move g4, black is gonna play a4, and now this bishop, there's no space for this bishop except bishop to d5, and we are going to play e6. Now he cannot go back, sorry, so he have to play bishop to b7. Now rook to b8, he cannot go back again, there is no space to go back. So bishop to a6, and then queen a5, and the bishop is trapped here. So this is a Topalov variation. Okay, another variation, if you want a little complicated game, the knight e5. The object of knight e5, just put this knight on c4, exchange the white square bishop. Let's play queen a5, play the rook c8, and attack on this pawn. So that is actually objective of this move. Here, after knight to e5, white most probably can go for the g4. Here, if white played h4, let's think about the move. If you played h4, the best move is here h5, and there is one game which is played by Kasparov versus Anand, and Kasparov played the same variation against Anand. Let's see knight e5, and if white played g4 move, okay, let's play the b5. Now here, if if we capture, it's not advisable. If we capture, it is like it's complicated for the white. Is like knight cross pawn, bishop takes knight, knight cross b5. Okay, and here, because this knight has moved from this original square, knight c3, this pawn is unprotected, and knight cross f3 will come, and it is like attacking this queen. So it is dangerous, and again black is just controlling this both pawns also. So so that's why black is playing b5. Even he captured by any p, like if you just take by this pawn, he'll just take bishop takes, knight takes, and again going to knight cross f3. White will be in trouble. So b5. Okay, so b5 is the best move here in this position. And let's see the g5 move. And now the problem here, where you should shift this knight, because this knight is having only one square. Okay, knight to h5. So don't take this knight on h5. Just play the b5, b4. Now, if he takes your knight, you will take his knight, and the problem here, he cannot take your bishop because you will take his queen, and it will be a check. So knight, there is only one move, knight c e2, saving his knight, and now you can move your knight to h5. White is having common move here to play f4. Okay, and then now you're going to play knight to c4, and here you are attacking the bishop and queen, so it is forced to take this knight, and then rook takes bishop. Okay, this is a line, and now in this current position there are many moves for the black, because uh, black is actually in equal position in this particular. Black can go for queen a5 also. There are many moves. Is black is controlling the center, black is attacking on this knight, so this knight cannot be moved. This position is blocked, so this bishop also can pin, this bishop also can play the knight bishop g4. There are many moves here, and like let's see here, white played queen d3. You can just simply go for the queen c7, attacking the f2 pawn. Okay, now even black can just pin this knight also. So it's even this rook is coming to c8, attacking this particular f2 c2 square. And now in this position currently, black is actually having an equal game. Okay, thank you so much for this your attention, and just a bit I'll keep sharing with this video with you. Thank you.